What's up, man? It's your boy Hazel Black Guy. I want to make a video about personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. Why black people hate personal responsibility, taking up for their lives, taking up for their communities and stuff. They hate that. They hate when guys like myself say, "Hey, you have to take personal responsibility for your lives." A lot of people don't like that. A lot of black people don't like that because that gives them control of their lives. They like the white man. The white man has no bearing over you. He doesn't. The white man, white supremacy. I know you're going to be like racist white supremacy and stuff. No. You can't use that in society today. Your communities are going down because you listen to the liberal notion. You listen to the liberal notion of, you have to, white people are to blame. You're a victim. You're all this stuff. No, you're not a victim anymore. You have to take personal responsibility for your lives. You have to take personal accountability for your lives. That's how you're going to get free on this earth. You cannot get free if you do not take personal responsibility. You have to take personal responsibility for your lives. The way your communities is today is because you don't want to pick up the shovel. You don't want to pick up the bucket. You don't want to do any of that stuff. And it's always white people's fault. There's always someone else's fault. No, it's not. It's your fault. You did to your life. You messed up your own life. You got a whole bunch of baby mamas. You got a whole bunch of baby daddies. That's you. You think the government, you're an agent of government wouldn't even spend money on me. I'm not an agent. No one else is an agent. None. That's how nations were built. Most of these nations today, they didn't say, oh, it's because of that guy. It's because this nation over here, they enslaved me. No. They picked themselves up by their own bootstraps and they create what they want in life. And that's what you have to do. You can't blame your mama. You can't blame nobody. That's your fault. Every single thing that happens in your community is your fault. And you have to take personal responsibility for it. And if you don't, your communities are still going to go down. You can't blame white people anymore. You can't blame nobody. Because the Irish actually were slaves. I'm actually going to buy a book about that. It's about the Irish slave trade. And it's something about white slaves or something. But Irish were slaves. They were basically slaves by the British, the Dutch, and all that stuff. They got slaves from Ireland and stuff, and they were indentured slaves. There's a book called I think it is Creation of the White Race by Theodore Allen. It's one of those books. Theodore Allen, I think that's his name. He went to this whole analysis of the Irish and how the Irish helped blacks back in the 20th century. You really need to look at that book. But I know as black people, you don't want to read. You want to watch, you want to look up drama on Facebook and stuff. Black people love drama. They love drama. They love it. And nothing's wrong with drama. It's just when the drama is diseased is when it's like not skilled at all. Because drama is good. The people who have TMZ and Bossip and all these other networks, Black Plant, they love drama. They use drama to gather people in. That's what I do sometimes. Sometimes I make the titles a different way to shock people, like I'm shocking you. And they're like, oh, this nigga. And then they got to look at the video. And that's how I get them. Yeah. Black people don't want to accept personal responsibility. They'll always blame somebody. And they'll say the government. The government has to help us. Well, in different societies, basically socialism, communism, how all that started is when they took away the amendment rights, the constitutional rights from other people. From their nation. They took that away from their nation and they wanted the government to do everything for them. The government. The government has to help us. This one guy, this dictator, has to help us. That's what's happening today. You know, they're taking the amendment rights, the constitutional rights, and it doesn't matter if you're black or white. You know, constitutional rights apply to you, no matter if you're black or white. You have to use that stuff in order to get out of different venues like police pulling you over and police stopping you and stuff. And if you don't know the law, you know, you're acceptable to the law. That's the rules of the game. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, but black people don't want to do that. They think it's black and white, and that's limiting. That's a limiting thing. You know, it's like religion. They won't talk about science and technology, reason and logic, because they're limited to their thinking. And, you know, you look at religious societies, they never really went out there, you know, really succeeded, you know, like nations like ourselves when logic and reasoning came. But black people do not want to take personal responsibility. And if something doesn't go right in their lives, it's the white man's fault. I didn't get hired because some white guy, you know, he seen me. I was wearing baggy jeans. I got a weave, a colorful weave and stuff. Actually, more black women get jobs than any other person. I'm just saying. But they will always put something ahead of them to justify their victimization. You know, and they won't be like other people. Other people have went through worse. If you read the whole history of Slavic history of the Northern Europeans, and the Northern Europeans actually gave the language to the English or the British, because when the Northern Europeans came to the British, they gave them their language, which is the Anglo-Saxons. They gave the British their language because the British were savages. They were, same with the Germans. The Germans were savages. They were wild savages. They were free. So they had to be enslaved, or that's where civilization comes from. That's another word for enslavement. You're civilized. You know, you're not free anymore. You know, there's wild and free nations here. Tribes. They were the wild and free, you know, savages. That's what all the Christians, and they gave them Christianity, and they were civilized, and they gave them original sin and all this stuff, you know, all that stuff. I don't want to get into all that. So I'm deviating. I'm digressing. Well, I'm just saying, man, you have to accept personal. That's how I got well in life, because I had to accept personal responsibility. I could easily say it's the white man's fault. That white devil, it's his fault. The white man, he did that. That cracker and all of this, and the racism, KKK and KKK America and stuff. But I didn't do that. I used to go around sagging my jeans and stuff. I used to listen to music and rap and all that stuff. I used to roll down the window and just bump music. But what's the benefit of that? What's the benefit of sagging your jeans? What's the benefit of wearing Jordans? I'm just saying, you know, I'm just being smart. But black people don't want self-responsibility. They don't want self-personal responsibility. They just want to be lazy. And it's great to be lazy because you don't have to do anything. And when a person like myself says this stuff, oh, you're a sellout. You're a coon. Because you don't accept, you don't talk about the ongoing slavery and enslavement of black people and how black people are victimized. You won't talk about white supremacy and how white supremacy has formed our society today. You won't talk about that. So you're considered a sellout, and you're wrong. And white people are, when you talk about white people, white supremacy, when you put that out in the universe, what do you think the universe is going to give to them? They're going to give supremacy to white people. Because when you say white people are supreme, white people are supreme, white people are supreme, white people are supreme, they're always supreme. They're always keeping me down. What do you think is going to happen in your life? They're always going to keep you down, and they're always going to be seen as better than you. Now, when you say white people aren't supreme, you know, you're having a different mentality, and that's all I have to say. Because when you put stuff into the universe, it comes back to you, cause and effect. And it's like when Louis Farrakhan used to say. Louis Farrakhan used to say, you know, black people, black nations are black buildings, or these buildings. He was talking about buildings. He was saying that you, in order for you to have new buildings, or I don't know. But that's all I had to say is a video about this, and I always want to make a video about this, about how black people don't accept personal responsibility, and they think it's the liberals, they think it's the Republicans. It's none of that, because this all a game. And in order to get great in your life, you have to accept personal responsibility. And I'll check you guys out later. Peace out.